amazing power. Rookie is able to convert a huge advantage for the rest of his team in that mid game, in that laning phase. And here we've already entered into our AR pick and ban of game 1 between IG and Royal Never Give Up.
And already you're seeing a hover on the Akali. Actually, just a lock-in here. Invictus Gaming pick it up for Rookie.
The Akali big. The fact that RNG let that through and they ban away the Aatrox as well, leaving one big power pick available, but RNG immediately they respond with the Urgot. They've got this ready in the playbook, and the Kai'Sa for Uzi.
This is going really fast. So the fact that we already see the Ashe, the Tahm Kench, regardless of the nerf, Tahm Kench has been key in the LPL this far. What the hell?
Oh, Kai'Sa, you said he's been putting on an absolute showboat of a performance throughout his previous games. Takes Lee Sin in game 1 against IG.
I think a little bit inspired by the play of Clid coming through. So Lee Sin players coming out and having that presence in the final.
Remember, the Kai'Sa has played it once already in the playoffs, and he was absolutely insane on the pick. He stepped up to the plate, but he didn't blind pick the champion. Usually you see it into the Olaf or into something that's got very early aggression in the jungle role. So the fact that he's gone for this blind, you see the second ban phase now. I would expect a Sejuani perhaps to follow with the Zac. Note that the Gragas is already removed.
That's the big important part, the fact that they know that they've locked in the last pick of the first phase, so they can start hammering jungle bans. I expect Olaf to be stricken off the table as well. So I just think it's so far really going to plan for RNG.
And it's so interesting to see RNG look at laning phase priority with that Urgot for a solo lane. We'll see if that goes to Xiaohu or Let Me. And of course, you got to pick something nice and safe for Uzi in the bottom lane early on. But that does mean, again, the support pool for Ming, he's going to be pinched a little bit by IG, but RNG get the response by getting to limit Ning.
Yeah, Olaf getting banned out. Perhaps we get to see the Trundle coming through from Invictus Gaming. That being said, RNG picking up red side means that they're really focusing on the counter matchups for mid lane and towards the jungle main matchup.
And you would expect to even see a Galio come out now if it's not banned. It's the Lissandra that was chosen by Invictus Gaming, a counter that we have seen even through the LCK, and we've seen it even in the EU LCS. I believe it was Nukeduck that started that one off. So we see the Lissandra banned away. Galio still a massive pick for Xiaohu. That's what I'm thinking for.
And it is locked in. Rusty with the predictions. Already you see the Kai'Sa, the playmaker of the Lee Sin. Xiaohu taking a bit more of a supportive role for his team on this tanky Galio to provide space for Uzi and Kai'Sa to do work. We're still looking at Mink for support, but this means IG will get to show the rest of their composition.
Yeah, and at this point, they've already gotten the picks out of the way. I believe RNG would love to lock in the Braum as a last pick and provide more space in teamfight situations for Uzi.
Yeah, definitely capable. I mean, when you look towards the support role, he's against a losing lane pretty much no matter what way you paint that. Of course, the Ashe able to control Kai'Sa just so handily. Wins the laning phase. Lee Sin, not exactly someone that wants to camp bottom lane all the time, is usually roaming around the map with mid as well. So Xiaohu, level 6 will be a big point for both of those players. The Alistar does make the most sense as a support you would be looking towards to round their composition out.
And interestingly enough, we've got the Lulu as a final pickup for Rookie in the mid lane. So the Shy and Jackie Love acting as primary carries for IG in this game 1.
And that's been the case for both teams. If you look towards Asian games, Let Me was the one that came out with the Akali top lane, not Xiaohu. So it's already coming out that Invictus Gaming flexing the pick, giving it to the Shy, allowing him to carry in the top lane. It's going to be difficult up against Urgot.
Timer's running down. Ming perhaps just hovering. No!
No.
Locks it in. Soraka to follow up Uzi.
So it's actually a pretty significant amount of lane control that comes out of the Soraka pick. I know I silly mentioned Alistar, it was banned away. Braum was the other one that you'd be looking at. Whilst it controls lane, it's fairly defensive. You could consider the Morgana to ensure that nothing's going to hit your AD carry, you know, scale through the laning phase fine with control, but Soraka wins lanes. Soraka has so much control of lane that you can actually control Jackie Love, prevent him, actually stop Baolan from devouring people as well with the silence field. There's a lot of utility there.
And what I'd love to see is RNG just giving them push in lane, giving them the ability to give control, and Kai'Sa now actually has access here, and layer down some nice defensive wards so Uzi doesn't get targeted immediately.
And that's going to need a lot of protection to keep Uzi alive in these fights because all eyes are on him. It is the year of the dog, and he's got the whole composition to try and chase down that bone, get that second final, and chase what could be the golden year. But Invictus Gaming, in their own second final since 2014, will try to take the challenge to them. In the middle, you can see the cup as the coaches enter onto the rift itself, middle of mid lane, to shake hands equidistant. I think he was trying to make off with the trophy there.
I'll walk back down off Summoner's Rift with the coaches shaking hands, of course. The composition's locked in. Invictus Gaming, I would say, pretty much in their wheelhouse with what they want for themselves. For RNG, that fighting composition, very exciting for me to watch. Xiaohu on Galio has been my MVP of the playoffs when you've seen RNG play. His flash taunts have actually just won games for them.
Yeah, completely controlled fights. That being said, how does it then look towards the top lane? Because the Shy picking up Akali and what has to be a difficult matchup going up against the Urgot. These lane matchups are going to be incredibly important because right out the get-go, this is going to be a good challenge for Invictus Gaming because they're not going to have immediately 3 pushing lanes that they're going to have control with.
Well, that's where we look to, again, Ning, that jungle for Invictus Gaming. He's been so instrumental in how he set up his top lane for success in the Shy and Duke during the regular season. Really, it's how Ning has plugged into playing with Rookie in the Shy that has defined how Invictus Gaming have found their advantages in this lane kingdom. But you can see the players are already speaking furiously as we prepare to load onto the Rift for Game 1 of the LPL Grand Finals. Invictus Gaming versus Royal Never Give Up. And a grand rematch of Spring Splits semis. The crowd is absolutely amped and it is packed to the brim. You can feel the energy in the air.
They're deafening the crowd here in this arena in Nanjing. It is honestly unreal.
The fact that we've gotten to this state, already onto the Rift, let's go.
And let's now hear the crowd chants. Like a rolling wave of cheers, the fans begin the gyos, cheering it on as Royal Never Give Up, chasing down destiny and fate itself.
It's a big stadium, Dom. There's not a lot of cohesion between fans like the regular season. Just a cacophony of sounds erupt amongst the entire arena. But we're already on the Rift. We're already at the jungle starts here. Ning starting at the red.
Yeah, and the fact that both junglers actually coming out first. So Ning, what he wants to actually achieve is try and split up the map. He has Lulu by his side, so he should definitely have the skirmish up against Karsa. They might meet each other early.
Yeah, but look at that. Karsa with Dark Harvest.
Oh, no.
He's ready for it.
He's going to walk into this. Ning sets the trap and finds Karsa. He's got some damage with the red buff. That's the knockup. Rookie gets in, but Karsa sidesteps the auto follow. Ning needs an auto, but Karsa gets away.
There we go. He must have prepared for that, knowing that the Lee Sin can't clear up top side quickly. So he tried to get onto the map early and now has to get that early base.
And you know, it's a flash used by Karsa that's traded for Ning and rookies. At the end of the day, whilst he doesn't get control of the Scuttle Crab, has to recall, you do still see that extra summoner spell used, and an opportunity now presents itself for Karsa to come back.
Uzi in this bottom lane having himself a grand old time, and there's the level 2. Why this Urgot is being picked. Attacks being hammered down. The Shy is low on energy. He's still got flash. Let's see if that electrocute is going to come up soon.
Oh my God, Ning's just not stopping.
This is not a casual game between
Not
friends.
at all.
These are both teams bringing their A game.
Oh,
That's Kathy and Rain.
They
Baolan
should go
trying to
in.
get out of this one. The snare's almost ready. Meanwhile, Ning has found Xiaohu. Remember, no flash on this. Karsa lands the Sonic Wave. That's the knockup. Ning goes down. First blood. Royal Never Give Up. Rookie's on the run, trying to make it out of this, but a red buff slow. Rookie has no flash.
Oh,
Ning
no.
is on the way, and Rookie dies. A double kill to Karsa.
Tragic for Invictus Gaming. They tried so hard to make that early pressure work, and 2 deaths because they didn't have flash because of the earlier fight.
And it's not the way you want to start the game if you're Invictus Gaming. That much is certain. But what you do note is these teams, it looks chaotic. It looks like there is just so much happening all at once. If you're RNG and you pick champions for draft that want to brawl, you take those brawls. If you're IG, your team is designed to win lane, win game. That is how you play. So they're always going to take the challenge. At the end of the day, 3 minutes in, RNG get the advantage.
Yeah, fighting so hard to just help out their jungler there in that situation. Bottom lane fights going through. Because if Jackie Love and Baolan got the head up in that fight, they would have actually been able to come out and help Ning in that situation. So Uzi and Ming's success in the 2v2 really piled forward.
And this could be where we see RNG bringing out the years of experience on their roster. They are comfortable with this grand stage, with this grand challenge. It may only be this year that they've started to see success with it, but IG look like they're starting to crack a little bit under the weight of the stage's lights.
And you've already seen how much success Soraka is having in this bottom lane, just in pressuring the Ashe out completely. Ashe has very high high cooldown super early into the piece. You're looking at lane control against just the Kaiser with the 2v2 is where things have differentiated. And RNG have got so much control of the bottom side river as a result of having control in that bottom lane 2v2. Ning now starts to run out of options in places on the map that he can effectively go or go and have an effective impact.
That's the problem here. Remember having Aftershock in the mid lane for Xiaohu. Top lane, Let Me is going to be a beast to really go for. And it's not really helping that you have a Kali there, so the gank setup isn't existent. So for Ning, really he doesn't have any gank opportunities top side. He's forced to go in a bottom lane that's completely warded out.
That's a bottom lane against Uzi and Ming, two of the most mechanically talented players in the league. If Ning wants to try to break it apart, it'll be an absolutely uphill battle, but still things looking pretty even between the two teams, though RNG with these 2 kills are going to start themselves off with an advantage. Uzi makes his way back into the lane with that teleport, a pickaxe to look for an early advantage against Jackie Love. Well, Xiaohu is just keeping Rookie locked down against this wave, but Karsa might be trying to look for a follow-up.
Karsa is going to be on the map a lot faster than you would expect. The early 2 kills that he got turned into a Tiamat. So clear speed, that was always been an issue for Lee Sin, not an issue at all. So he's going to be up the top side so much more frequently, knowing that he can access Raptors and Krugs with ease.
And even if he chooses not to gank, he can power farm to 6 now. He'll be much more successful than the Xin Zhao in clearing camps. So with that clear speed, can focus on getting to level 6, having that massive impact. At least in without flash, he'll still do a lot of damage because of how far ahead he is, but his entryway into kills not as easy.
And contrasting Ning's issue, remember that Karsa does have a lot of gank set up here. Going top lane, Urgot has flash as well, so he can E-flash. Look towards bottom, the mid lane, you have the Galio there that can really set you up with the taunt. So in the top side of the map alone, Karsa has a lot to just kind of pick for.
And that was super unlucky for Ning. In about 5 seconds, that ward that spotted him was about to die. So they know exactly where he is. Karsa immediately moves to the other side of the map. This is just an exit, I would imagine. But if Soraka and Kaiser are feeling strong enough, they'll have to come over and assist him as he takes it.
It's Pickaxe versus the Vamp Scepter for Jackie Love. Ning did roam towards mid lane to try and pull some attention, and Karsa is taking some hurt. But the wave pushes in for Uzi. He follows up to support Karsa, and it looks like a very early Ocean Dragon take for RNG. Baolan can't do anything to stop it. RNG with the first dragon.
Yeah, you got the fruits on the side with Soraka there, so you can actually just go back into your own camps. That said, he's going to go out in base.
And that's a very early swap to the sweeping lens here. Baolan doesn't have wards, hasn't upgraded his support item, so they are relying pretty much on Hawkshot and a lot of Ning's vision placement to assist them in this time. Ning's on the opposite side of the map constantly because, like we mentioned, lane control belonging to Uzi and Ming, enabling Karsa to be on the bottom of the map. Suddenly, they're in a very unsafe position if they can time ganks around the triangle.
That comes down to Karsa's knowledge of where Ning is going to be and how he can try to affect that. Again, we talked about the mobility of that Galio, but that's even unsealed spellbook on Let Me if he wanted to try to teleport bottom and look for an upset down there to further try and snowball that lane. But Karsa, he's racing towards level 6 as quick as he can. Ning trying to do the same. Haven't seen too much excitement outside of that early jungle skirmish, but we'll be keeping our eyes on our junglers for the next few minutes.
Yeah, I think the jungler from Ning, when he finds himself in these really poor situations, he tries to be creative. We saw him look mid a little bit earlier for a counter gank situation if Karsa was going for a gank, and the control was being picked. What the hell, buddy?
That ward is dead.
Look at his player cam. He's laughing too.
Wow.
He knows.
Lee Sin has ward hops, it's fine. He's got 2 control wards. He'll still get the kickoff.
Talk about stage jitters, Karsa. Well, at least he's got more camps that he can try to clear out, practice those buttons a little bit more. That's why we do warm-ups before getting on stage.
And a smile on his face doesn't signal that he's tilted by any means to me, nor nervous. He's just going to laugh that one off. RNG, they've been on bigger stages than just this one even at the MSI Finals, and they come up clutch, so he'll be fine.
If he was going to look for a flash kick, that might make it a little bit more difficult, but he's still got ways in as Xiaohu is trying to control this vision and scout out Ning. Now IG move into the river to try and take control, but there's no objective for them to look for.
The objective could just be fighting. Remember, they have Galio on the side, so Galio being able to hit level 7. If a fight does end up happening, you have Galio to follow up. Karsa's not alone here.
They're tracking onto blue buff right now. It's going to spawn in just a few seconds, and IG.
Wow.
Getting some vision.
Oh,
Ning.
no.
Ooh, Gromp resets. The crowd totally unbiased as that Gromp makes his way back to the Toadstools.
Gromp wins the day. Xin Zhao still able to hunt around the area. Blue buff is the ultimate goal that they were initially looking for, but Ning also uses one charge of his smite. He may want to keep that second one for any trades that happen. Like you mentioned before, Raz, it may just be a fight. Level 6 is a big point for these team compositions to consider that.
And Lulu got the push off here. In fact, they're just coming back to commit.
Gotta remember, though, that's a Galio in the mid lane for Xiaohu. He can get into those fights so quick, but right now, Letme doesn't have his teleport ready, sitting on heal and flash, whereas the Shy has been holding his for quite some time. The blue buff is being pulled by IG.
Urgot is roaming, though. This is going to be a long travel for him. He's wondering if he needs to come in for a flank.
Yeah, he doesn't have teleport right now. He's got heal on the spellbook, so they're going to commit to this blue buff. Waves of crash. No one goes back to their lanes. This is a long dance.
Letme has been spotted in the mid lane. That's the hero's entrance as Ning goes in, but they found Karsa. He's got no flash, and he goes down. Baolan gets the shutdown. Uzi eats an arrow as he looks for Jackie Love. The Shy dives into his back, but Uzi resets and finds himself on the side of Ning. Xiaohu will die. 2 kills to IG. 3 versus 5, but the Shy is looking for cleanup. He's found Ming. Letme stalling. Uzi over the wall has forced to turn and run as IG find themselves 3 kills.
RNG losing 3 members to Invictus Gaming this early into the game after RNG get the lead as well. Things have completely backfired for them, and that was a long time in the making, that fight as well. They all committed themselves to the fight at the blue buff. Letme doesn't have teleport. He's swapped to Ignite now as well. Top lane is not going to have access, but IG come up big.
Yeah, it started off kind of poorly. Of course, kick out the Galio ulti didn't mean too much, but the teleport from the Shy meant so much. Letme had to walk a long distance to the top side of the map, and so it just allowed the Shy to run rampant.
And notice when Uzi uses his ultimate, he's distancing himself from the Shy, and that just leaves little old Ming by himself next to an Akali, and the Shy just demolishes him.
Yeah,
poor guy.
Poor Star Guardian Soraka. Trying to drop the Equinox to stop down the Akali, but hey, perfect execution. Lots of damage. Now 11 minutes in, that's 1 kill on the Akali, 1 kill on that Ashe, and 1 kill on the Tahm Kench, who did end up with the blue buff when it was all said and done. So as we crest over the 10-minute mark, IG with a slight gold lead, but they are slowing RNG down.
Something to make point of, because you talked about the buff going over to Baolan. Glacial Augment Tahm Kench received the change where he now actually gets 50% reduced cooldown if he ends up using his Devour on an enemy opponent. So if he ever gets onto a Uzi or Ming, it's going to hurt. He has the speedy boots too, so he's coming.
Yeah, Glacial Augment Tahm Kench, one of those abilities that gives you access, of course, slowing when you can hit spells further, especially at base levels on the Q. I think it's even a higher slow on a melee champion. So very strong pickup for the Tahm Kench.
We do see a teleport bottom lane from Jackie Love as he makes his way in. Karsa tries to affect top by taking a clever route through the Rift Herald, but is unable to affect it. Meanwhile, RNG engage in a lane swap.
There we go. They were so close to getting the knockback. They're in position, though. They want to get this.
He's got his ult now, so very hard to kill the Shy. You see, that was the first charge immediately as the cooldown became available, used to disengage. Good movements from RNG, but there's no +1 of the kill on top.
Meanwhile, IG trying to race for this first brick. Royal never give up with the lane swap. We're going to break it down. Let's see if they give Uzi all that solo gold. Deciding to share it instead. They've got the faster push and still with the numbers advantage.
This is a big benefit to RNG. Not only did they get the complete push in lane, so now when Invictus Gaming swap back, they're going to be much slower, but the Rift Herald is also available. So that's an option. They're not opting towards it, but I just love the creativity there from RNG.
Yeah, Ning just nearby as well to try and detect if they are hitting the Rift Herald is something that will deter them. Jackie Love also going to crash this wave in. I think all of these minions will now get missed as well. So in the end, it's actually not too bad for Invictus Gaming. It could have been an upward trajectory in the trade for Royal Never Give Up, but IG are able to quell that threat.
Yeah, usually the loss of being on the bot side of the map for that long is that you don't get the rotation top side, but he's already got them Blade of the Rune King, so there's not much pressing him, and he's going to stay in the bot side of the map a little bit long for the Dragon.
And this is what we wanted to see from Invictus Gaming, playing towards their strengths, playing towards the lane kingdom strategy.
Oh,
it was
wow.
a very early setup to try and take that, but Uzi, along with Karsa, now spotted by the Shy. There's no turret for him to retreat to. Tosses a shuriken back.
Doesn't have her ultimate too, so remember, this is going to be a clean kill if she gets it.
There we go with the smoke screen, but the Shy just walks it away, absorbing all of this pressure.
And he's playing weak side quite well. That was a risky predicament, the place that he found himself in, but Akali has so much mobility, and note that even the flash is up and available. So worst case scenario, the summoner spell could have been used to hard disengage, and I think if the Kaiser W had connected, that's when he would have.
Yeah. Long lanes too, so at this point, I think Invictus Gaming needs to start matching. Gunblade being built up by the Shy, you're at a really good state where you do want the matchup versus Letme. You have the sustain, and you've actually been pacing yourself really well, so he never gets you with his E. So you're in a really good spot. You want the Shy to go up against Letme.
Now Uzi is very far forward. Jackie Love goes to catch the wave. Void Seeker gets just a bit of damage just to say, hey, I'm here. as Jackie Love and Baolan keep themselves safe against Uzi and Ming, but Karsa is non-stop roaming around. He's level 9 now with completed Warriors and Tiamat. He does damage if he can find someone, but currently IG are playing so safe.
And he hasn't prioritized his boots at all. Completes the Warrior enchantment with the Tiamat just to finish those items as soon as possible. Doesn't get even the brown leather bags, not even boots 1. So he's a very slow Lee Sin, but if he connects, if he finds the mark, he will hurt.
Well, at least he has his flash, so that should make things a little bit easier. If you can find another ward to try and clear out. Currently, we see IG setting up deep vision on the bottom side to keep an eye on Let Me on that side of the map, which is allowing Uzi and Jackie Love to continue farming up, though it looks like Gwinsu's has been completed for Uzi as he makes his way back to base.
This is a really difficult position for Karsa because Karsa either goes bottom lane and helps out Urgot, who doesn't have flash, in really a poor situation with a 1-kill Akali. If he doesn't go out and help him, then you're in a really tough situation. So Lotme is actually just trying to say, okay, I don't have Karsa just yet. I'm going to make myself useful.
So let's set the stakes then. What are we looking at for these teams to do? Is it Ning and Karsa just patrolling and trying to break these lanes open so we can see a fight over Rift Herald? Or
you know, as best I can tell right now, this laning phase will continue as normal if you're Invictus Gaming. If you have control of the map, you know that you've got control of the bottom lane, you've got the Blade of the Ruin King done in the top lane, you can harass now as well because you've leveled up to 9. Ashe in a very good position. So continue laning as normal, bring Lulu, bring Xin Zhao to your area, and threaten constantly. That means RNG are the ones that need to make the play, or they risk losing that turret.
And with how much of an advantage Karsa has here, he has to play topside because Jackie Love is just trying to hunt for an ultimate. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow is what he's looking for. And there's a Tahm Kench, so if Karsa ever gets a Q across, he's not going to be able to land the killing blow. So we're in a really tough spot for Karsa, who wants to make himself useful, but his side lanes are in a difficult spot.
The trouble of that mid-game Lee Sin, that power trump damage. He's got himself a stopwatch and now the boots to look for a play as Uzi takes some hits against Jackie Love. That's the harass you were talking about. But the Soraka right next to Kaisa keeps her at full health. IG, though, still looking for a fight. They're going to turn on to the Rift Herald. And though RNG are in the area, they can't do anything.
Karsa's not looking for the Rift Herald. He's looking to kill them the second they come to summon it in top lane. If that's the play, if that's the decision they want to make, Karsa is ready and he is able.
And Let Me has teleport. Remember, he wants to get himself out of that lane. This is the play you look for.
Jackie Love steps up. Tahm Kench has been spotted on the other side. The flash kick. He goes sideways. The arrow onto Uzi. Jackie Love looking to get in. And Baolan gets the save. The Shy joins the fight. He looks for Ming. That's the wish. But the Shy with the perfect execution. Ning goes in with the crescent slash. Dive into the back from Ning. He's looking for Uzi, but he's continuing to kite it out. Karsa. But Jackie Love will die. And RNG are winning this fight. Chasing Rookie down. Baolan at low health. Sacrifices himself. But 4 members of IG are dead. Void Seeker ready. And dodged by Rookie.
The Rage play had so much damage across to it, and Xiaohu protecting him. He's going to look for the kill. What the hell?
Flash slow. Let Me trying to get through this minion wave, but he's real slow. Karsa's on the side. It's a trap. The wave. Oh, Rookie at max range sidesteps the Sonic wave.
Yeah, just brushes the backside. Rookie's going to survive. It's not a clean wipe. They're able to sustain themselves, but RNG, they still come out on top with the kills. Uzi pretty much untouched through a lot of that, and it's so hard for Jackie Love to navigate a fight when he has 0 health to kick it off.
That's the issue, and I really loved how Karsa started out very smart, recognizing that the Rift Herald is something we don't want to fight for. We're going to fight in a situation where IG feels comfortable. Doesn't matter where he gets kicked to, I'm following you. And so he's out of the fight. Sure, he's alive, but that's your primary form of damage, not wanting to be anywhere nearby you.
Yeah, the Shy is going to get the assassination off once again. He finds himself Ming, and that's a major part of their teamfight success. Kill the Soraka. Uzi is a lot easier to take down, but during all of that time, he leaves himself open to Let Me, to hit that Fear Beyond Death, to fear everyone around him, and suddenly the teamfight is a cakewalk.
Now IG using that Rift Herald in the mid lane as their top plan doesn't work out. It's a big charge, and the turret goes down. Xiaohu is running with the shield of Duran. Ning against the wall. The Shy goes back in. Karsa's knocked up, but Uzi, he's trying to get through Baolan's health. Let Me trying to turn her around, but now they turn on to Uzi. He's got no protection, and he goes down, and Invictus Gaming win the ensuing fight.
Oh, but they keep going for it. Tahm Kench.
They're diving. They're diving now under the inhibitor turret. Ning and Baolan going way too deep here.
Yeah, maybe not, but maybe they can wait for the waves a little bit.
Downland has to walk it off. He's got no flash as Ming eats a massive hit from Rookie.
They have zoned them away from the turret. That's what matters the most. They're going to get a 2-for-1 as well with these turrets. Rift Herald comes up big for them, opens the fight, and with no summoner spells available from the prior fight that just happened, they make the picks, and so they get the advantage.
Just the adaptations, man. Last time around, they knew that Karso was actually coming in for the flank. That's how RNG won the last fight. So the Shy was ready. Flanking the flankers. Yeah, who watches the watches? It looks like it's going to be the Shy in this situation because he knew what Karso was looking for and assassinated him before the fights even began.
And this is amazing when you think about the fact that IG are team fighting against RNG, and we are so back and forth. Something that Invictus Gaming have been practicing and working on for so long, and they can come up against the best and match them like this.
And just take a look at this. Karsa and Let Me trying to find access, and they zero in on Uzi at the same time. So much control from Invictus Gaming, having 2 fights and knowing that, wait a minute, Uzi's alone, zero in on him.
Jackie Love landing the enchanted crystal arrow on that all-important damage threat to RNG. How perfect it is to see RNG play towards that hyper carry Uzi style in this game 1, and IG matching them beat for beat. Can RNG give Uzi the space to carry, or will they be able to dive and shut him down?
At this point, it's getting a little bit clearer. 2K gold lead from Invictus Gaming.
Yeah.
The Shy with 4 kills and has double magic penetration ready for himself. He wants to be on a sideline. He even picked up a stopwatch just looking for the fight. So this is a great, I would say, showcase of the Shy's talents.
I think it's more of, you rephrase the question in my mind. It's not will IG dive, it's how will they dive? Can RNG survive the dive? Can they sustain their way through the Shy going into the backline? Because that's his purpose right now. But to me, his purpose is in a big part killing Ming. And Ming right now going for a very offensive build, no resistances in there. The stopwatch, one-time use only, is his way to navigate the team fights if it happens. But that's so far away from him that RNG are still susceptible to losing team fights.
Yeah, and they can play this pretty nice and steady. I think that if you're RNG and you're just trying to defend under tower versus the dive, you have the ultimate from Ming, he also has heal going towards redemption, and then immediately Xiaohu's positioning once he gets flash. If he can get the taunt across on multiple members, that stops the dive, and the Shy is very fragile. So while he has the stopwatch available, it's just not a comfortable, stable fight to take in that position.
And while all that comes down to the execution in these upcoming fights, we've got to look at what's happening now as RNG are trying to soak this pressure. IG moving their wards forward, trying to claim more and more control of the map, and RNG doing everything they can to stop that so that they can buy time for that Kai'Sa to scale up, buy time for Xiaohu and Let Me to act as bodies and become tanky in their own right.
Yeah, and at this point, buying time is so much harder now that Ardent Sensor got picked up by Rookie. 22 minutes around Baron on what is a buffed up Ashe with Blade of the Rune King. You have to respect the burst that they have on that beast.
100%. And I do think that the big thing RNG will be looking at is another 10 minutes. If they can survive 10 more minutes, they will have tanks. Invictus Gaming do not have that besides their support. They have fake tankiness with a Xin ult and a Lulu ultimate. But aside from that, compared to their opponents, can't sustain front to back as successfully. If they get Baron, however, within this next 10 minutes, IG can break the map completely open.
And that is a big ask for Royal Never Give Up against one of the fastest teams in the LPL right now. Invictus Gaming are relentless with their pressure. As 22 minutes in, they're trying to knock down the last outer tier 1 turret in that top lane. Uzi finally steps up to clear it out, finishing off his Nashor's Tooth, but he's still half an item down behind Jackie. The arrow, whoa! That was through Ming's luxurious locks.
Yeah, so close, and it was because of the control ward in that tri-bush. So, I mean, Ming didn't have a lot of opportunities to dodge it. The moment he saw the enchanted crystal arrow, just ducking to the left.
And surviving, holding on to that summoner spell is so important, as he has got a lot of the vision that RNG need. Ardent Sensor now also finished for Ming, so he can further try to springboard Uzi on that Kai'Sa into the mid and late game, but the dance is around vision now. With the top tier 1 going low, RNG are giving up ground, giving up segments of their own jungle to try to abate IG's pressure.
I love the fact that they're just invading and taking the camps away, because these camps should belong to Uzi. Trying to farm up to his 3rd item. If he gets a Rabadon's Death Cut for Bansheesville, we'll find out. But once he gets that alongside, as you mentioned, Ming's Ardent Sensor, he's going to be so strong in team fights. Where are you going?
When you look at IG and how they play the game out right now, when you look at RNG and how they give Uzi gold, usually they put him in a side lane. Against the Tahm Kench Ashe, you can't even dream of putting him in a side lane. So what usually becomes comes a mid-game, funnel Uzi into items, slows down a little bit more. A little bit more time goes into the hands of Invictus Gaming. They've already got control around majority of the Baron area, in the river at the very least. They are finding opportunities to perhaps make plays.
Sand in the hourglass is running out for Royal Never Give Up in this game 1 mid-game. But they've still got plenty of opportunities to try to step back up. The top tier 1 is taken. RNG are able to get some wards onto the Baron as Uzi is desperately trying to get some items. Meanwhile, the Assassin trying to deal with him. The Shy is at 2 full items already. 4, 1, and 1. We've already seen the damage he can do to his Soraka. Damage to a Kaisa, not much better.
Yeah. And he has himself the CDR to boot. So a CDR on the Shy, who's going to be looking for R2 activation for his ultimate in these larger team fights. That's going to be crucial for him. So eyes on those team fights. That being said, RNG's taking complete control around the Baron. Having the control wards placed out, they think they have a good standing here.
And what was a hectic early game has actually slowed down into a much more cerebral, vision-based style of game. RNG, if you ask me, how do they beat Invictus Gaming?
Oh, that's the arrow. No, Karsa's the one who takes the hit. Takes himself a quick shield hop away. Flash slow from Baolan to look for even more, but Jackie Love tries to get the slow. Ning continuing to pursue as Let Me with the unsealed spellbook ghosts his way in the lane.
The flash from Tom Kench is a little bit of desperation, but they bounce away.
They're looking for the fight. Karsa's already dead. Meanwhile, they're turning onto the Shy. He activates the stopwatch. Hero's entrance. Jackie Love dives onto Uzi, and he does go down. He's still alive, but at such low health. Can't go back in. Ning chasing the front line. Shield of Duran, the flash. Taunt. Rookie's low. Winds of War, not enough. Xiao Hu tries to play it out as Disdain tosses Baolan forward. And Let Me and Xiao Hu set up the front line. Uzi is healed up. He chases it down.
Not gonna get it.
Red buff burning. Red buff burning.
Seek it out.
Still
One
sitting on
W
the
left.
Void Seeker, navigates through the Glitterlands, and somehow RNG trade 1 for 1.
You have to be patient in these situations. Jackie Love dies out, and remember, all of them are basing. They're going for another dive, but I think they should just look for Baron.
Looking for the tier 1 turret here to force the Shy away. Like you said, they've got that Kaisa, but decide not to go for the Baron. Instead, playing it safe, not risking a turn because Jackie Love has teleport. Could get there very quick.
They even have the vision there, RNG, but they choose for the outer turret. That gives them access to the Baron next time. You get to see this fight again. Jackie Love is the member that goes very far forwards in the end after Caster is immediately taken out of the piece, and the Shy, compliments of a Lulu ultimate, does get the Zonius off. So you can see Jackie Love's positioning right now. Took the fight, Uzi matched him and took him down.
Yeah, the extra heal from Ming, also giving him the extra bit of armor. Jackie Love needed to be patient in that situation. He thought that he had his way in, but it's still a 2v1, and you just shouldn't be looking for it. That's a Gwinsu's Rage Blade on Uzi.
And so much of his composition for IG is protecting Jackie Love. If he was alive, if he didn't fight Uzi and they continued that front-to-back style, there was a chance they were able to kill the Galio when he goes for the taunt, win the fight in its entirety.
You can see that damage. 5,262 damage from Jackie Love. If Uzi had died, however, that would have been at least an inhibitor, if not the game.
But this is a great opening of just saying that Jackie Love is confident on this stage, because sending out Ash Enchanted Crystal Arrows is one thing, but when you don't have it available and just using your passive, walking up and slowing them down, opened up for the first kill. So this is what you need to see out of Jackie Love.
And this is the difference between Jackie Love in semifinals in spring against RNG and Jackie Love today. He is flashing forward. He is taking the chances. He remembers it was his mistakes that cost his team the series just a few months ago. And he's already trying his hardest to rectify them. Infinity Edge completed to the Banshee's Veil of Uzi as the 3rd dragon is picked up for Invictus Gaming. And we have just had team fight after team fight, and I love it.
With one Mountain Dragon in the back pocket of IG, that adds even more to their Baron take, potentially. With 2 Ocean Dragons and denying the second from RNG, it hurts that Soraka just a little bit more. Not as much sustain to heal people constantly, and maybe worse positions to find yourself in if fights happen and IG choose to back up and sustain.
Now the arrow's back up for Jackie Love. Still missing a lot of flashes from RNG, but they're skirmishing over vision around the Baron. RNG get in first and force IG to take the choke point into the pit.
And this is the difficulties of the composition here from Invictus Gaming. They picked the Ashe because they didn't have the engage from the top side, and now that you fire off the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, sure, great, it hits Xiao Hu, or Let Me. But who's going to follow up on that? You would expect Ning, but you already saw how much he gets bursted down by the back line of RNG. This is the issue they currently face.
I do feel like RNG are very poised to start these fights now, though, with 3 items completed on Uzi. You'd have to say he's ready to go, raring for those fights. But note that it's a Banshees. It is not a Zonya's Hourglass, not something that will keep him alive through fights, but something that prevents the Ash Arrow from initiating them in the first place. Not going for the QSS build. Of course, being AP, he goes for the AP version.
Now IG have claimed control over the river. Bottom wave holds at the tier 2 and looks to start a slow push for RNG, so they've got time, but they also need to worry about top lane. IG, they're going to play the clock as they turn onto the Baron with 1 Mountain Dragon already. It's down to half health. RNG getting in position. Shy in the front line finds Xiaohu, but is unable to penetrate the magic shield.
This is very difficult for Invictus Gaming have a front to back. They need the Shy in a more hidden position.
Yeah, flanks is always a place that he'd want to find himself in. It's also so much of this is about mid lane control. You can see the side lane start to build. RNG pushing bottom lane with their minions. Top lane finally crashes for IG. But because mid was already controlled, everything quells once again. Everything slows down once again. You need the vision, you need the mid lane priority, and then the Baron access. And baits or fights are yours to start.
This is why it's actually Invictus Gaming taking a smarter approach, knowing that the Shy had so much control in the side lane earlier on, and how low that inner bottom lane tower is. He just needs to have a little bit more work there. Hell, just force let me down there. He doesn't have teleport half the time in the game, and he needs to set up to actually join a fight. If he can't plan for the fight, he's not going to have teleport ready for the fight.
And it looks like that's what he's doing right now, sitting on heal and exhaust, so cannot use that on any champions to swap it back over to the teleport as the wave pushes in. IG, they've got bottom push, they've got control over mid lane. Now's the time.
If they can sweep their way through the river now, they'll be poised to actually take that Baron. They've got 3 control wards as well in the pockets of Balan, so they'll be able to clear out the entirety of the vision that RNG have. There's no teleport wards for them. There's no way to get access into the back line. And for the most part, Urgot kind of wants to be front to backing anyway. In fact, he has heal exhaust with his unsealed spellbook.
Yep.
He's not teleporting anywhere. He's grouping before the fight starts.
Lemmy will absolutely have to be on his A game if he wants to be grouped with his team without losing that tier 1 against a level 16 split push Akali at 3 full items.
Here's what's dangerous though. Control wards galore for RNG. They actually have so much damage on Kai'Sa at this point that they can rush it, and Invictus Gaming have to force them out of the Baron area. It's much more of a threat for RNG to be in this place.
Wards over the wall to force RNG into a bad position. Jackie Love is very far forward. Sonic Wave hits, but Jackie Love is trying to act as bait to pull Kai'Sa back in.
You can just feel how tense this first game has become in this best-of-5 finals. Game 1 slows down so much. Everyone knows that Baron could be the deciding factor. RNG comfortable scaling up to that late game with the Kai'Sa Galio, with a Soraka to empower it. But for the side of Invictus Gaming, they've got a Lulu with the Ashe, who is so good in the late game anyway. Both teams confident in their scaling, both teams comfortable getting there, but both teams too afraid to make that big play in the mid game to snowball it out.
Now we're reaching that late game. 3-4 items on the way. Uzi looking for his Rabadons as the IE finished off for Jackie Love, but already has his Zeal, so he's going to do massive damage with that true damage. And still, the game continues to dance around vision as IG, they're just waiting for the opportunity for RNG to make a mistake so that IG can find a pick.
And 90% crit for Jackie Love. The fact that he is now just empowering himself makes it so Invictus Gaming truly do just have a one-threat comp, unless if the Shy joins in on the fight in the flank. So for Invictus Gaming, it's so much more focused in how the team fights start off. So the fact that they're so focused on controlling how it starts, so crucial for this composition.
And that's a big pickup for Rookie now. He's completed the entire death cap done from what was 2 needlessly large rods in his item slots. That also opens him up for a control ward slot. So Invictus Gaming overall have more control wards to place. They have more vision control to put down. And if they look towards objectives now, that 1 extra ward could be the difference.
It's all about team play here as again, Jackie Love, so confident, walks it forward. Arrow finds Letme. Remember, he's still got the heal and exhaust, but Jackie Love is just walking it down.
Oh my God.
Gets the insect, but immediately the save from Paulette. Xiaohu resets it, but who's protecting Uzi? He's trying to get into the back line. He resets by diving in, finding 1, but it's stinging the Shy, still surviving. Rookie looking for damage, a double kill for the Shy, but Uzi is unstoppable, finds another kill, chasing Ning down, gets slowed, but gets the Acathian Rain. Now Rookie is over the wall and decides to bail. That's going to be another kill. 4 members down.
And they have to let Rookie go, but RNG winning the team fight with so much time now. Baron should be free. It should be theirs to take. The game should be wide open in RNG's favor.
Defined by the milliseconds. Jackie Love was holding that flash. He was waiting for that. Walking up forward, he had to have known that the kick was coming through, but didn't react on time.
And Karsa gets the flash kick. Baolan tries his best to save it, but is not able to succeed. And RNG get the outplays. Like we said, it's about how the fight starts for IG. But for Royal Never Give Up, it's about how the fight ends.
And it really is going to hurt Jacula, maybe even mentally, for not being able to use that flash. He's a teleport Ashe as well. You'll see the start of this fight. Now note that maybe he could have flashed the Lee Sin kick, but Baolan is a clutch player right now to save him with the flash. He still has flash, but the Galio taunt, that is backline access for Uzi. The second that connects, Uzi finds his moment, and he is the one that assassinates him. So 2 pieces there where the flash could have happened, but do you expect Uzi to come from a full screen away and make plays like that?
Not at all. I mean, at that point, Invictus Gaming didn't know. They were trying to dive at him, but using his ultimate to just say, actually, not going to happen. Not only am I going to kill your AD carry much faster, I keep myself topped up.
Uzi goes back forward. That's the hero's entrance, and Uzi is still free firing. Gets through the crescent slash, finds 1, finds 2. They've still got the Baron for 2.5 minutes, but it's a 3-man defense without Jackie Love.
They're going to take so much. Rookie can't stay under this tower, or he's going to get opened up once again.
Yeah, the Shy even now just starts his recall. That's at the bare minimum an inhibitor that you would expect to be secured by Royal Never Give Up. They have got all the momentum in this game.
You can hear the crowd like a tidal wave.
20 seconds.
They're running forward. The clock is ticking. 25 on Jackie Love. They're looking to go forward. Shy, can he get the assassination? Ning looks for another.
They have to stop them now.
Body block. But RNG just continuing to maneuver forward onto the turret. Uzi breaks it down, flash engage. He chases down the kill and finds another. Turning onto the Nexus, it's too late. Invictus Gaming are running the clock, but they're trying to stall this out. They can't stop the sands of time. RNG, the Empire is rising.
They were on the back foot for so long. But when they find that open, they just barrel on through. That game looked like for about 80% of it, RNG was behind. But they just find those windows, Rusty.
They're good at playing when ahead. They're good at playing when behind. RNG know what their win conditions are, and they can play to exactly that. They get 3 items on Uzi, and that's when the game starts to open. No matter how many times you try and assassinate him as Kaiser, he resets the fight. He turns it upside down, and he is now the frontliner assassinating Jackie Love, coming up so clutch.
And this was RNG playing to their style to a T, identifying, hey, we've got a weak early game, but we can try to skirmish with the early strength of Lee Sin. Then let's sit back during the mid-game until we get those core items, until we get that one fight that we need, that final spike at 34 minutes.
Yeah, at that point, Invictus Gaming trying everything, trying to take the Baron, trying to rush it, not a possibility because RNG were always there, sending the Shy to the side lane, but he knew that he was going to be under threat if Uzi, found the W to be able to join in on a 2v1. They just couldn't find the cracks in the team fight. Uzi always found himself out, so evasive. So for Invictus Gaming, if they can't run this composition, they have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things you'd be looking at for Invictus Gaming regarding that draft. Giving Xiaohu the Galio when you ban the Lissandra. You know he can play both, but the Galio zone control does wonders for enabling the Kaiser to be free hitting in the backline. The same thing actually applies for the Urgot with the zone control that you can place down, especially if you get the Fear Beyond Death going. So he was not exactly in the freest position to be hitting Uzi, but he navigated incredibly, and so did RNG in protecting.
It seems as though IG were going for the confident play, saying, hey, we'll take the team fights. We'll try to go for the out mechanics, the out maneuver against RNG. It's game 1 in a best of 5. Yeah. We can afford to try and drop this one.
Yeah, and they just couldn't do it. Jackie Love being picked off when the composition was around him. Well, I want to see what we get out of it in game 2.
Well, we're about to find out, but now it's time for our analysts to break down that game 1 RNG victory.
Thank you so much, guys. That was a hectic game 1. I know the crowd's going absolutely ballistic, and we were at the analyst desk too, but you need to start this one off at the draft. And now, I've got a quote here from Frost. She looked at the draft, and yeah, we're going to game 5. So, Frost, I want to start this conversation off with you. What didn't you like about the draft, and what happened?
Okay, so first and foremost, this is RNG playing with their hubris here. They let the Akali go through. In the LPL, or even around globally, I know it's slipped out a couple times in the EULCS, a couple times in LCK, Akali has been permabanned, especially when it's between the Shy and Rookie and how dominant they can be on this champion. And I just felt like RNG were playing with fire, because if you look at that draft, they have the Soraka, they have the Lee Sin, you're like, okay, those two just sit in the back line with Uzi, and if Akali tries to go for the dive, you have to get it through the Soraka heals, and you have to get it away from the Lee Sin disengage, or at least how you would assume. And then you have Galio and Urgot to fight that front to back. But I feel like if that fails, this composition is going to fall down.
So we got our carries on the top side. We wanted the Shy to actually be bringing carries to the top side, including the Akali. Surprised that one got through. But Clement, I know we were talking about the fact that we're going to be winning through mid lane. What happened there? That's a Lulu. How does a Lulu smash mid lane?
You have to criticize Invictus Gaming. They did take a step backward. In this entire composition, this core idea was about diving Uzi. They have 2 dive tools, Lulu to back it up, and actually Jackie Love is just for the frontline control of the crowd control, get the fight started. But I feel like RNG actually had very decent answers in terms of the team fight. If you think about Akali going in and popping Twilight Shroud, hovering around Uzi, what can RNG do? They can threaten with the global, not the global, but the AoE taunt, and they can also put the Equinox straight down on the Twilight Shroud. So in terms of protecting Uzi, they actually did a good job in terms of drafting. I agree with Frostkern, however, I didn't really like this draft, because when you go on red side and you get only 1 counter pick in the support, it makes for a very, very weak laning phase.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we expected, right? But then what happens literally 2 minutes into the game, we just have instant action. And it's just like, well, surely Invictus Gaming should be winning as they have the superior champions for the early game. No, that's the opposite of what happened. We actually had RNG just come out of the gate, get multiple kills.
And for me, this is just, again, a game of mind games. You know, you think about what's happening on the Rift, but it's also what's happening outside of it. If RNG can say that we can give you Akali, we can survive it, it doesn't matter. Suddenly Invictus Gaming, maybe they're less sure to take that type of power pick, and it gets left open for RNG to punish with. Now, I feel like there was a bit of trolling going back and forth. There was some early kills that immediately went to Karsa. Super well played
Flash
from the
ward.
super well played from the Scuttle Crab, as well as the trading potential with the Soraka and the bot lane to set that up. But then RNG just threw it away. They're like, Ash Arrow, we can fight this 5v5. You can't fight that 5v5. You shouldn't have done it.
Let me ask you this then. Coming into the game, were RNG ever really out of the loop? Because we look at RNG and, Castle's calling like the comeback win when you get to the team fights is all going to be great for RNG. But if they were planning for this, was this all going to RNG's plan?
I don't really think they were ever really outside of the loop. What you're looking for is you actually need side lane domination coming out from Invictus Gaming. The best way that IG want to start a fight is Akali actually coming in from behind the composition and not letting RNG use their formation to their strengths. Now, if you look at what IG didn't manage to do is that they never got the flank in those big team fights. It was always front to back. So I felt like as long as RNG could keep the side lane somewhat equal and not have those situations where they were getting flanked, then they were still in the loop for sure.
Right. I mean, if you're Invictus Gaming, it completely makes sense what they were trying to do. You're against RNG and you say, okay, who's the star player of RNG? Well, it's going to be Uzi. So what do? We draft a dive composition. That was Lulu, control from the Ashe, as well as the Tahm Kench on 2 diving champions in the Xin Zhao, as well as the Akali. For me, the big one was the Akali. And so you go in, you draft that plan, you're like, okay, just blow up Uzi, that's fine. But the problem is that you never go full SKT. Don't put Rookie on Lulu. I hate when Faker's on Lulu, I hate when Rookie's on Lulu. They can play it, but you need that Rookie in the side lane. Go back to 1-3-1.
Yeah, and this is why, because you can't put all of your damage dealers onto Jackie Love. He will make those big hero plays looking for glory, but he flies way too close to the sun, and Uzi just takes him down. Glory.
I mean, sit down. You're not the king. Kneel before me. Jackie Love got put in his place, but I will say this. I like the fire from Jackie Love. There are so many times that when you're such a young player, again, this is his first season in the LPL. He's been in this high-pressure situation across from Uzi, of all people, twice. And he has the gall to go for that type of play. So, credit where it's credit's due. I like how aggressive he's being, but you can't do that against RNG.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, what's optimal is just don't die in this situation. Do that, but then actually win,
hit the front line! They could have taken that 5v5 so easily, and I think that's the problem in Invictus Gaming. When it comes to the 5v5 and the understanding of how their team composition actually is supposed to work, they're so far behind RNG. RNG know what their defensive lines are. They know what abilities to save for their opponents, and just on that fight, when the Shy goes in, you know what? Uzi just goes to the other side of the fight. He evades the entirety of the assassination and the dive potential.
And here's the thing. I know that Uzi got man of the match. I know that we're going to continue to talk about him. He played that game phenomenally, had some crazy plays like that. But I didn't feel that RNG's plan was really around the Kaisa. It was a part of it. Obviously, you want to get your primary damage dealer, the items that he wants, your star player. But for me, that was RNG recognizing that Let Me was the key to success. How he changed up his summoner spells when they knew that the fight was going top, he had the ignite. When they knew that they were fighting front to back, he had the heal and the exhaust. Waiting for the Urgot to have the tank stats as well as the damage. For me, it felt like Let Me and Urgot was really the key to victory there.
Yeah, it was a strong start coming in from RNG, of course. Man of the match will be Uzi coming into this one, but just thinking about what we're talking about right now in terms of the topic, we're talking about Invictus Gaming actually in the conversation for a team fight. We said coming into the series, you get to 25 minutes and Goodbye.
Did you watch that? That wasn't an IG team fight. They got slaughtered.
They still picked up kills. We still went to, what, 35 minutes? That was an extra 10 minutes than I was promised, Rusk.
Yeah, and they lost the game because of those extra 10 minutes. But, you know, you have to give it to Uzi. I think it's really important that they went for the Kai'Sa first one. If you look at the draft, what they're going to do and what they're going to continue to do is ban out the Vars and then draft the Kai'Sa early. They are saying Kai'Sa is the linchpin of this composition. She is the big carry that we want to play around.
Now, does this change if you pick a different champion on the bottom side? Do you literally just spend all of your bans taking away the hyper carries from Uzi? Because we've watched them all the way through playoffs. This isn't new. We've seen us do this every single time. And they'll first phase Kai'Sa. And it's very readable what they're going to do. But do you actually have the tools if you're Invictus Gaming to overwhelm that what you have on your side?
It's the thing that you know that it's going to be Akali. If Akali goes to the draft phase, you know she's going to be the priority pick. So it was clear that RNG had a plan. You know, with Kai'Sa's ability to kind of reposition herself, to have the shield, to have the Soraka, and as well as ban the Varus, they wanted to make sure that Uzi got through the lane phase okay. And they just put their money on that, okay, if the Akali's going to come through, we have the composition that can counter it because it can survive it.
Yeah, definitely. The Lee Sin, Galio, and the Soraka were massive picks right here. But this, what it comes down to is still the same. We want to see a carry performance from our two-time MVP rookie. Please do not give me another support champion in the Lulu.
Yeah, I mean, we know he can play it. We've seen it in international, we've seen it in the domestic league. It's just a matter of him taking it out now in the finals. We're going to take a short break. When we get back, we'll be coming into game number 2.